Welcome everybody to Wrestle Geeks Talk. This is February 1st for us. Today we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk a little bit about GCW Fight Forever, Impact Wrestling, AEW Dynamite. We try to cover a little bit of everything that we watch here. I'm your host, Trevor Firth, and my co-host,
Shady Jeff.
Oh, that was a little loud, man. One second.
Yep.
Oh, it's all good. It happens. So we were saying not long ago before we started recording that Raw and SmackDown this week were pretty much trash.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me. And, the sucky part is it's the go-home shows, so you're expecting them to be good.
Yeah. Like, you think they're actually going to put some effort into it, but then they don't. I didn't watch, again, I just did my normal thing of only watching highlights for WWE.
Right.
But I watched the entire Rumble.
Same.
I actually watched the whole thing.
Same. Actually, I was a half an hour late because I had some login issues. It wasn't taking my password, so I had to reset the password and all that stuff.
That's never fun.
So, but I'm glad I missed the first half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this is probably going to be the only time you hear me say something about a wrestler, but I absolutely, positively despise Goldberg with a passion.
I mean, yeah, I share that. You saw the post I made on... Did you see the post I made on the Facebook page?
I did not, no, but I absolutely, positively hate him with a passion. I will never, ever like him. I don't care how much charity stuff he does. I don't care how friendly he is. I will never, ever, ever like him or give him credit for anything he's done.
Oof, that's worse than me with a lot of the guys. Like, wow, I thought I was harsh on some of the older guys, but I mean, Goldberg is really controversial and polarizing. I agree with you. He's one of those guys where either you love him or you hate him. There's no in between with Goldberg.
I absolutely despise him. And It's not that he came back. It's the fact that he ended somebody's career and he's put into a Hall of Fame. That I absolutely can't stand.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. I stand at the exact same place on that one. Yep. So this week we're going to start with... Normally we do things kind of chronologically, but we're starting with the Rumble because it's the Rumble.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to touch upon right before we do this for our listeners, we do this as a long format talk discussion between me and Jeff. We just sit down and we're just talking, essentially. So what we decided we're going to do is we're going to release each individual promotion as separate videos, miniature videos within the next one a day or two a day, depending how many promotions we cover in each show. That way, if people prefer the short form videos, they can watch those. If they like the long form videos, awesome. Let us know what you prefer and down in the comments. So, Jeff, Rumble, you want to take point on this one?
Absolutely. So, I guess the only thing I could really say about the first match, the Drew McIntyre match, is how quick it was. It was about a 10-12 minute match, give or take.
Yeah. I had issues when watching it too, actually.
Okay.
Turns out that it skipped a lot. It was like the feed wasn't steady for me when I was watching this match.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I rewatched it this morning.
Right.
And yeah, no, it wasn't anything spectacular in my opinion.
No, it wasn't. And I was just glad the match was over, honestly. And I don't get why, honestly, they changed his tights or he changed his tights to look like Brock Lesnar. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you noticed it, but if you notice the tights, It's not his regular tights. It's,
No, attire is a big thing for me. I like gear. It conveys a story and a message.
Right.
Just by what you're wearing, you can tell half a story. Like,
Yep.
I'm sure we'll talk about them later, but New Day, for example, uh, we know they have amazing gear on a regular basis. So, I mean,
Especially last night with the Brody Lee tribute. Absolutely.
yes, that was beautiful. And what they're
Incredible.
doing, I don't know, did you hear about what they're doing? They're auctioning off the gear and they're donating the funds to Brody's favorite charity.
Wow, that's incredible. That's, stand-up gentleman, honestly.
Yep. I mean, it's Woods, Big E, and Kofi are three probably the best human beings, just genuinely good human beings in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, another one that I can throw in there is Titus O'Neil.
Mm-hmm.
He did so much stuff,
Oh man,
so much
Titus O'Neil.
great stuff. I don't
Titus
know what
O'Neil
really
is
happened to him. I haven't heard anything about him or anything like that. But when he was, full timing for them,
all every
he did,
week something.
yeah, he did everything, be a star and all that stuff.
Yeah, Titus O'Neil, honestly, when he was at the top, he was like a perfect ambassador for the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was, and
Absolutely.
his heart is as big as he is.
Yeah.
Like that's the easiest way for me to say it.
Yeah, and I like guys who do like the charity stuff, I mean, say what you want. John Cena, my God. I mean,
more
the
Make-A-Wish
Make-A-Wish
Foundation.
Foundation
Yeah,
whole, like, he's, world record for it.
exactly. And like, look, say what you want about Cena, say what you want about WWE and their business practices, because I have plenty of negative to say about that stuff.
Right.
They get some stuff right, and they do some things right, and you can't deny that. So
Yeah, I'll never bash them on the charity work at all
no,
because
never.
they always do, you know, incredible jobs with what they're giving and all. Like starting up Connor's Cure, even, which was,
Oh, that man.
so many things, that they've done.
The amount of times I've sat there watching the Connor's Cure commercial going, "Wrestling, why are you making me cry? Stop it."
Yeah. Yeah, every time I choked up when I was watching the Connor video with him and Daniel Bryan leading the Mania, pinning Triple H and all, like.
Oh, of course.
Then, talking to AJ Lee, like, stop being so crazy or stop your craziness and don't hurt Daniel Bryan to Batista. I don't want you to hurt Daniel Bryan. Yeah, so.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, same.
I love it.
Yep. I don't know. It's always when you have the kids involved, man. Every single time, it's just.
Oh yeah. Like as a dad, I'll admit, like it's my weak point. Kids are my weak point. Like I can't. Like it hits me right away. I can't fight it. But in the end, with this match, McIntyre and Goldberg, like as short as it was, and whatnot, like WWE made the right call. And then like that's basically the post I made.
It's the only call they had.
Yeah, I posted
a
picture of McIntyre with the belt, and I'm just like, WWE made the right decision. Finally made the right decision when it comes to Goldberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if he sticks around and does anything else, but I don't feel like he should. I don't want him to. I know you don't want him to.
I could care less where the hell he goes or what the hell he does.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like I said, I can't stand the guy. Not one bit. And that's my own personal opinion, honestly. I know he has a huge fan base. I know people absolutely love him. I know he does a lot of things, again, charity wise for children and all. I don't care at all what he does. I will always despise him and hate him.
Yeah, man. I mean, we all have those people that they just know. Just know. I mean, things have happened in the history. Like, it's like Sexy Star. Man, Rosemary has not been the same since. Let's just leave it at that. I love Rosemary. I love everything she's done, everything she's continuing to do, but she has not been the same. That rocked her to her core.
Right, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it was just a work," and
No,
they were both
no,
in on it and all. Like you could tell when something's a work and when something's not a work.
man.
You
Jeff
know,
Jarrett started a fight with the vice president of AAA in his office
right,
because of that. Because at the
right,
time, Jeff Jarrett was in charge of Impact. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like
yeah. I
that.
heard about the story.
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah,
ooh, man. Like, no, Jeff Jarrett wouldn't. It wouldn't have come to blows or anything like that if it wasn't
mhm,
real.
right.
Yeah. Um.
And you could kind of tell like that somebody was out to injure somebody too. The whole way
Yeah.
that match started and all, you could tell like, you know what? I hope the referee's in there to protect her because if not, this is gonna turn ugly. And it
Yeah.
did. You know, it did big time.
So next match on the Rumble was SmackDown Women's, right?
Yeah, Sasha and Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just jump right in and say, I have no idea how Carmella is walking right now.
I mean, that was yeah. She took a nasty bump. That's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I thought she was knocked out because after she hit that, like after she hit the floor, she laid there motionless and then moved like a good 5-10 seconds later, like nothing happened. Like, how is that possible?
I'm not sure if it's that she's like there's some people that can sell like there's no tomorrow, and she seems to be one of them.
Mhm.
Like Carmella is always been consistently a good seller in my opinion. Kind of like Ziggler. Ziggler's just a good seller overall.
Ziggler's a whole different category, though.
Yes.
I mean, my God, talk about a seller.
Yeah. But yeah, really Carmella and Sasha Banks, like there's
Mhm.
Sasha retains, but there's nothing really special about this match in my opinion. It was just, meh, title defense, go Sasha. Sasha actually is allowed to have them now. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, I guess they were hoping just for, I don't know if it was a cool down period or just something for the fans to, watch or whatnot. It was a nice little match, though. They did what they needed to do. Sasha did retain. I do think that that's the right call.
Oh yeah, of course.
With Sasha retaining and all.
I feel like I feel like it was probably the SmackDown's title that was on the line, only because we had like Asuka had already wrestled them on the pre-show,
Right.
right? So being as part of the tag team title match, which was
Mhm.
oh that was a mess. We didn't talk about that one, but that was a mess. That was
I
so
actually did
overbooked.
not see the pre-show match, and
Oh, I
the thing
did.
I did see though was Flair coming out, Lacey Evans
Yeah.
coming out, and it honestly just looked like a huge cluster.
It's like Flair comes out for a distraction, and then Lacey comes out for a distraction after that, and then
Flair
Lacey
gives her the
break.
brass knuckles with
Not
the
yet.
punch.
Lacey breaks the figure eight by pulling on her arm, and then the second time Charlotte locks in the figure eight, that's when Lacey hits her in the face with the brass knuck, and I'm like, that was so
Why? What?
overbooked, so overbooked. You like just keep it simple, guys.
Yeah, figure eight, knuck spot, 1, 2, 3, go home.
Exactly. Like we're
Don't forget they were supposed to be, or some of them were supposed to be in the Rumble, later on that night. So to overbook it like
I
that and
mean,
have them work more,
they all were.
right?
All of them except for Asuka were in the Rumble, right? So it's like, oh.
Yeah,
Um. So let's just go into the women's Rumble match because I loved it.
same, same.
Like,
I actually
oh,
call it, believe it or not, I called it Ripley and Bianca Belair being the last two. I
I love
called that
that.
even before the match started. I told my best friend about it. He was just like, "Did you read like any spoilers or any odds or anything like that?" I'm like, "Nah,
I
man,
know,
you know
man.
me. When the hell have I ever done that? Like read up on odds and stuff." He's like,
When
"Well, that's a hell of a call."
all you can do is give the one that you really, really want and that what you feel is the right call. as like a story from a storyline perspective, and hope that's what WWE does.
Yeah.
Because WWE does this thing where they think that like let's just like smart marks, right? Fans who know how the business work and fans who like dissect everything. So
think how they know how the business
yeah,
works.
they think they know everything. They think
Yes.
yeah, I'll be honest. I was a bit of a smart mark before I got behind the back, like behind the curtain. Absolutely.
Right.
But
I think
like
we all
everybody,
were at one point, you know.
Until you actually step behind the curtain, you're actually backstage.
Yeah.
There will always be things you don't know.
Right.
That's the way I see it. Like you could be backstage in any capacity, just being backstage. Even if you're security, you're going to learn more about how the business actually works than you will ever read online by just being at that one show.
Yep.
Like, but anyway, WWE has this thing where they think, oh, the smart marks think we're going to do this. Let's swerve them. No.
That's not good, honestly.
Give them what they want. The smart marks are literally standing here going, hi, WWE. Yeah, we're your consumers. We would like this as our product, please. Literally, they're literally walking up to you and telling you exactly what they want 90% of the time.
Right. However, here's the thing with that, though. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, it is a double-edged sword, yes.
This is my whole thing on that. Okay? Because I've seen this happen with Vince many times, all right?
Yeah.
With the fan thing, okay? Yeah, the fans are there paying them good money and all. But do you want to cater to the fans who, pay the tickets and all, or are you going to pay to the sponsors and, people like that who want to see, what they want to see? For instance, let's take Crown Jewel, for instance, on their fantasy booking where they had the Fiend lose the title.
Yeah.
Because they were all about fantasy booking.
I suppose.
Honestly, that's what it was. It was fantasy booking because after he won the title, after he beat the Fiend and all, it was supposed to be him against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It was. Reigns didn't show up. Strowman replaced him. Strowman wins the title.
Yeah.
So just because, it looks good on paper and all and sounds good on paper and might draw doesn't necessarily mean it will draw because, Murphy's Law. You heard Jesse Ventura say it during his Hall of Fame speech, Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong probably will go wrong,
That is, no, you're right.
So,
I have like the whole list of what order everybody came out in for the Women's Rumble. But it's up to you if you really want to go through it all. We can just go through one by one and talk about what each of them did in the Rumble. But I kind of just want to talk about specific women, honestly. I have specific moments I want to talk about.
Women and the surprises.
Yeah.
And definitely the surprises.
I mean, like 1 and 2 is Naomi, Bailey and Naomi, which 1 and 2, yes. She getting Naomi back was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Like, I loved Naomi. Period. Seeing and I'm not a WWE fan, as you know, but I love a lot of their workers. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people who work for them. I was not a big fan of the company.
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. And the reason I don't blame you is because the company is more so about writers than they are about passionate workers, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
What the writers say and do is what they go with.
Yeah.
And that's only going to take them so far and all, especially now, because the whole game has changed for them. I think you heard me say this last week with AEW and TNA stepping up their game now. It's not like Vince is the only thing out there.
Thank you. Impact.
Yeah, well, Impact, yeah.
We're trying to erase the stink of TNA.
Yeah. So
that's the way I see it.
Impact, AEW, Vince, and all, We have all three of them, and Vince is still in the mindset where, oh well, I'm the head of the I'm the head of the castle and all, and I can do this and I can do that, and it'll be fine because they'll come here, and if they don't come here, they'll go elsewhere, and then we'll never hear from them again. Ha 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 ha. Well, Vince,
Yeah,
that ain't the case because
not the case anymore.
you let Dean Ambrose go, you let John Moxley go, and I don't see him struggling at all going to New Japan and defending in AEW as well. So,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that
So,
should automatically have been, a wake up call. I mean, he lost two big stars, which was John Moxley and Luke Harper.
yeah.
He couldn't keep them too happy. He
No, he
loses
couldn't.
them thinking, oh, you know what? They're mid-carders. It's no big deal. We've got Roman Reigns. We've got John Cena. We have Randy
Yeah.
Orton. We are good to go. Well, how long are you going to have Randy Orton and John Cena for? And how long can you keep Roman Reigns fresh,
Yeah. Well, it's like the
That's my
statistics of this
opinion.
Rumble. There's only 2 people under the age of 30 in this Rumble.
Really?
In the men's Rumble, sorry. There's only 2
Oh,
people under the age of 30, and I think it was 16 people over the age of 40.
yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
definitely get into that.
But
But right
Bianca
now, let's
Belair
get back
comes
to
out at
women.
3,
Yeah.
and Bianca Belair was on fire the entire Rumble.
Yeah,
Every
absolutely.
time the camera was on her, she was doing something good.
And different,
Yeah.
which is very, very hard to do, especially in a Rumble match, any Rumble match, honestly. It's hard to do something different
Agreed.
each time.
It's at this point, like, I love the Rumble, but there's so many.
Right.
Everything's been done, right? And that's the problem.
Right.
That's the curse of everything. Everything
Yep.
has been done. And yeah, we know Bianca goes the whole distance. She doesn't get, like, she's not the official Iron Woman of a Rumble. She doesn't have that time because I think that's still Natalia from last year or the year before.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Because Natalia lasted to, like, the last 3 one year, and she was number 1 or number 2 that year.
Right.
So, like, she has a little
I
over
think
an
it was
hour,
the
or,
first
like,
one
just
in
under an hour.
Was it the first one in Philly? Is what I'm thinking of. Was where she lasted, and hasn't
I think
been
so.
top since. I think it was the one in Philly because
Yeah,
when Ronda
when
came
Asuka
out
won.
and all.
That's
Yeah.
when Roscoe won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
I was actually there for that one. I hate it when she won, especially with the botched ending.
I agree.
I mean, if it would have went smoothly, I would have been like, okay, cool. But the one thing that gets to my nerves is having Ronda Rousey come out. Like, first off, you have a botched ending, then you're going to have Ronda Rousey come out and kind of, like, overshadow her winning by pointing at the WrestleMania sign, then she leaves.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that booking at all. I didn't when I was there in person. I'm just like, what the hell was that?
That must have been so disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the men's Rumble that year with Nakamura winning was incredible. I was high-fiving fans I didn't even know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
To see there. The last time I was at the Rumble was when Benoit won it in 2004.
Oh,
I was at that Rumble.
Oh my god, dude, that must have been amazing.
Yes,
like,
so
I actually quickly though, I do want to say I actually compare this women's Rumble match. Like, to me, it's almost on the same level as the 92 and the 04 Rumbles. Like, that's how good this match was overall.
Well, I mean, Bianca Belair was number 3, and
Yeah. Yep.
So obviously, yep.
But no, to me, this is probably one of my favorite Rumble matches. Like, I'll probably look back at this in like a year from now and be like, that was probably my favorite women's Rumble match. Actually, definitely is. And it's probably going to go down as one of my favorite Rumble matches of all time.
Right. It's probably going to stay as your favorite, women's WrestleMania match for the next 10, 20 years, maybe.
Yeah, it could easily be my favorite women's Rumble for like 10, 20 years. Very easily. Billie Kay comes out number 4. We get her doing her She's trying to get recruited by the next couple of people
I
who
don't
come
know
out.
if anybody else is a fan of her gimmick, but I sure as hell am because it's
I
different
love
and
it.
it's hilarious.
I love Billy Kay, and I love comedy wrestling.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love the Iconics. So when they did their
Mm.
when Peyton Royce comes in, they did their tag team move, and then
Yeah.
Peyton Royce did the Iconic, and Billy Kay didn't. I was sitting here and I'm like, what? No, why? Like I was hurt for Peyton Royce. I felt that. Like I was like, what are you doing? Oh, that was, but like, no, Billy Kay is, she's got so much potential. So much
Yeah.
potential. She could do, like, she's like a Santino Morello. You know what I mean? Like, she's a good wrestler, but she's hilarious.
Yep.
Shotzi Blackheart comes out, shoots her with her tank. Shotzi didn't last very long,
Well,
unfortunately.
Shotzi completely misses the tank shot, if you noticed.
Yeah, yeah,
Completely misses.
yeah.
But
And, like,
I think she was the first one eliminated in the women's rumble.
she was, she lasted all
Yeah.
of 2 minutes, 2.5
Yep.
minutes, something like that. Yeah, no shot. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like she's good, but I've never been a Shotzi fan, I guess,
Hmm.
personally. Even when she was like indie scene, everything I've seen of her, like I've always enjoyed her for the most part. But to me, she's not like
Somebody you can't be
super incredible.
invested in, right?
No, I've never been invested in her
Right.
personally.
Right. In my opinion, she has some work to do, but she's definitely got a lot of potential and she's got a lot of passion and heart.
Yeah, she does have the
You know,
passion at least. That's
that's why,
probably why I don't mind.
right, right, because you can always tell when somebody, wants to be there and has the passion and is just
Yeah.
doing everything they can to, make the show better for everybody and all. So that
Uh,
I definitely appreciate.
I mean, the worst thing you can do is just literally go through the motions. If you're a
Yeah,
wrestler that's just literally going through the motions, that's literally like that is the worst thing you can do. It means you should be looking at like probably gearing down and getting out of the ring.
yeah, definitely.
And like you're not trying to improve, you're not trying to grow anymore, you're not like they're obviously your heart's not in it at that point. And we've had people like that in WWE. And they just stayed like that, and that's because they were given a crazy paycheck
Mm.
to just job her out or wrestle the same person 100 times in a row, literally.
Sheamus and Orton. I think
Yep.
we mentioned that last week too. It's
Well,
funny
even
how we
like,
keep coming back to the Sheamus and Orton thing.
how often has Ricochet fought the Hurt Business?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's multiple people out of the same
Mm.
faction. How long has Ricochet been stuck in a feud with just them and nothing, no one else?
I would say at least half all through. Let me see. I think it started when SummerSlam.
Around that time, I think.
Yeah, started around SummerSlam, went all the way through to Survivor Series, and
Yeah.
just recently ended because of Retribution. Now he's just finished, with Retribution. I think they're doing that to him just because they know he wants out of his contract and he's not resigning.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
what do you? I
Baszler,
mean,
yeah. Baszler comes out next. Which
right?
Baszler, like her and Nia Jax had just won the women's tag titles earlier in the
Mm.
night. I don't
Now
know.
Baszler, say what you want about her. When she had the NXT run and all,
Oh, she was dominant. I loved it.
and a lot of people, started hating that like the horsewomen were always costing people the match and all, and she would always, win somehow with using them and all. Bottom line is, she
Man,
might be one of the best female workers that they've ever had. I don't mean like, have right now. I mean ever have. Her submissions, her submission skills are unbelievable.
agreed. I'm in like MMA.
Right.
That means what it is. But when it
Yep.
comes to the four horsewomen, man, like this is how I
Mm.
see it. It's some people are gonna hate this. She's Triple H. Shayna Baszler is Triple H. Ronda Rousey is HBK, and then
Mm.
Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke might as well just
Are
be
the
Road
Outlaws.
Dogg and
Yeah.
Billy Gunn. Like
Yep.
they might as well be the Outlaws just running around going around them, and nobody really cares what they're doing. Everybody cares about Shayna and
Ronda.
Rousey, which is unfortunate because Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir are good in the ring. They're good pro wrestlers. They definitely deserve their own spotlight, and they definitely deserve something. Like, make them a legitimate tag team and have them actually gun for the women's tag team titles and go after Shayna and Nia, maybe.
Speaking of tag team,
that'd be cool, right?
You bring up a good point because we're in the Dusty Rhodes, Tag Team Classic, and they're not in it when they stayed in NXT. So,
exactly, what are they doing?
Did
with
Triple
them?
H drop the ball for once, or did Regal drop the ball for once? Makes you think, I mean, it's only one minor thing, It's only one minor thing that NXT does,
Yeah.
Their product is still way better than anything you see on the main roster.
Pretty much, yeah. For consistently, yeah. Next we have Toni Storm, which awesome to see Toni Storm back in any capacity. Anytime Toni Storm shows up, I'm happy. She's fun to watch. She's always entertaining. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
I like the heel gimmick too that she has.
I don't know who Jillian Hall is.
I'll
be honest. I do not know who she is.
She is the one that used to have that thing on her face back in the early 2000s and all.
I researched her. And I had to research her because I didn't know who she was.
She turned into a singer after that, after she got the thing eaten off her face in front of me by Boogeyman, which was not fun. I was actually at that show when the thing got eaten off her face. It was disgusting. I absolutely put my head down actually and just was looking at my friends and I'm just like, just let me know when it's over. My friends did the same thing. They're like, let me know when it's over.
I don't think my brain realized those were the same person. That was the same person back in the day. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, you kind of like do that sometimes. You are suspending your disbelief on purpose, and you kind of just like don't realize, even though sometimes it's a little obvious.
But I mean, it was cool to see her back in just because, you have that annoying heel. So I was happy to see the annoying heel back and the whole thing with Billy Kay and all go down.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, will you be my partner? She's like, yeah. And then they get in there and
That's for sure. She can actually wrestle. I was like, I don't know who this girl is, but like, damn, she could join the WWE roster right now.
Yeah. Yeah, like, she could always put on a show. When I believe she tugged with Summer Rae at some point. If you want to research that later on and double check that to make sure I'm right about that, but I'm pretty sure her and Summer Rae were a tag team before because they both had a singing thing.
That would make sense.
So,
so after that we got Ruby Riott, which
one of my favorites right now. One of my favorites now on the roster.
I haven't been staying consistent in watching, so I'll be honest with you. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if it's interesting.
So, if you remember, she had the long hair and all, and the whole.
I saw the short green now.
And all right. Well, she cut it short now, and not only that, but she's doing more wrestling than it is with like ground and pound and punching and stuff. She's doing a lot more wrestling than she did before. It's really awesome. But I've always been a fan of Ruby Riott. Always been a fan of hers.
I knew her a little bit on the indie scene before she got signed. And I enjoyed what I'd seen back then. And I enjoyed what I saw in NXT.
Like I saw her and Shayna work together on the indie scene.
Okay. Oh, that must have been cool.
So I was familiar with both of them. I was like, oh, cool. They're both on NXT together. That's awesome. I hope they have a match together and on. I think they did have a few matches that were.
They had a rivalry.
Yeah, they had a great rivalry going on. They had a few matches that actually, were incredible, of course, because it's NXT. So NXT, they just want people to put on the best show they can. So,
Next is Victoria, and I popped hardcore for Victoria. I was so happy.
Honestly, I wasn't even expecting her to go there on it. I wasn't expecting her because of Impact. I was not expecting her because I thought she was going to be loyal to Impact for like
I'll be
eternity.
honest. I'm watching
Honestly,
her in the ring, and I said it. I'm like, I'm happy to see her, but a part of me kind of wishes she showed up at Impact.
yeah,
Like a part of me just kind of wishes, but it's all good. If that's where she wants to be, that's where she wants to be. Good for her. Royal Rumble, man. Like I don't blame her. That's a bucket list for anybody who didn't have the opportunity to do one when they were in the company.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like people get on them, like who was it? Like when the first one came out, it was like Kelly, Trish Stratus, Lita. I'm just like, well, they deserved to be in Alundra Blaze. Even they deserved to be in it because
she deserved it.
They
I don't
were
care what anybody says. Alundra
there.
Blaze deserved it.
Yeah, they were there, and they didn't have that opportunity because of the simple fact, they just didn't have it. But now that women wrestlers are actually women wrestlers now and not divas,
exactly.
It's a whole it's a whole game changer. I kind of agree with, I forget who said it. I think it was Gail Kim who said it. Honestly, she's just like, I'm not a diva. I'm a women's wrestler. Like, why are you downgrading me? And I completely agree with her 100%. Like the whole Divas title, I did not like at all. The whole Divas division, I was not a big fan of because they were just made to make in my opinion, made to make a mockery out of women wrestling.
Pretty much. Impact has always had the name Knockouts, which at least it's a decent pun.
Right.
It's not great either, but at least it's a decent pun. And they made it something that people can be proud of. That's the difference. Diva wasn't built to be something that the women could be proud of from the get-go. So that's the big difference between the two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So Peyton Royce after this, which we already the only really big moment she had is when we had the iconic team up again.
Yeah.
Which we already talked about. Santana Garrett came out next.
Mm-hmm.
And Santana Garrett is underrated. I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to say.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of her work. But just to see a new face in there and the energy that she brought, I was happy to see her in there, honestly.
Yeah. Liv Morgan came out next. And her gear was inspired by Christina Aguilera. Yes. Pretty good. She gets in her own head, I find. She's one of those wrestlers. She's actually pretty candid about the stuff that she's gone through. She's had struggles when it comes to mental health in the past and whatnot. If I'm not mistaken, she's been pretty candid about that stuff.
Right.
So, but she's again really good. I've been a fan of her since NXT. Before Riot Squad and all that stuff. She's always had that passion and she's always had that potential.
Yep. I remember when, it was Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and, Ruby Riott all in there together in singles competition, Yeah. And they rocked the house, honestly, as singles. But then when they brought them up, together as the Riot Squad, I'm just like, Riot Squad, all right. Hopefully it's Paige, and hopefully it's Nikki Cross. And then I'm stuck with not Nikki Cross, stuck with Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan in it. And I'm just like, okay, how is this going to make sense and all? Having Liv Morgan come out like a Harley Quinn and... I just didn't understand it, but it worked for him, absolutely. Me personally, I just didn't understand it, and I'm glad I didn't understand it because I learned to like it, Okay. Just like the Hurt Business, the Hurt Business and all. At first when I saw them come out, I'm just like, wow, I don't understand what they're doing or where they're going with this, and I don't know if they're going to get over or anything like that. And then as time goes on, you work with the gimmicks and all, and you work with what you need to work with and all, it comes together. Now I'm actually a huge fan, especially turning Cedric Alexander heel because he needed something new. He's one of their top superstars.
They're using Shelton Benjamin, so I can't complain. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Lashley, being CEO, believe it or not only am I a fan of it, but I think it's brilliant he started using the full Nelson since he was the first person to break the
Yes.
master lock.
Yes.
So for those who needed a history lesson on
fits for
why
him
he's
too.
using the full Nelson.
Yeah. Next we have Rhea Ripley coming out, which we know she made it to the last two of Bianca Belair.
Yeah, that was actually my call because I knew Ripley was going to be in it at some point.
It was great. After Rhea Ripley, we have Charlotte Flair, who Rhea and Bianca teamed up to take out at the end. I'm kind of just trying to quick fire through a few of these there to get down lower. Dana Brooke comes out, and
That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say is Dana Brooke comes out.
You know what? I am actually a fan of Dana Brooke. I will be honest with you.
No, Dana Brooke, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Look, honestly, Dana Brooke can work, man.
What impressed me, honestly, when she came out that one time, like had the new theme and all, and she came out and she did like that no hand like cartwheel and all, and then flaps. Yes. I'm just like, oh wow, okay. And then what really impressed me, believe it or not, was here's what really impressed me though. She had a match, she lost it, but she had a match with Asuka, and just how quick Asuka was able to lock in, a submission hold and have her tap, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, on Monday, she took that crazy scary bump from Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And then, yesterday at the Rumble, her and, Rhea Ripley almost screw it up. Like, she's supposed to one-arm powerbomb her off the apron or onto the apron, and they almost screw it up, and then you see it. You see Dana Brooke, she's like, fuck this, no. Like, we are getting this spot. This is the Royal Rumble. This is our moment. We are not screwing this up. And then she powers her way up into it, and they finished the spot, and it actually looked pretty good. Mind you, it was probably the nastiest looking bump of the Rumble, of the women's Rumble anyway. She bounced off that apron.
Yeah.
That's why I like Dana Brooke.
She doesn't get enough credit, honestly. She really doesn't.
That's why I like Dana Brooke. She is tough. Man, she takes it and takes it and takes it, and she keeps coming back. And that's impressive. She's been used as a punching bag by Nia Jax for years. Literally, Nia Jax has injured her 3 times.
I mean, who hasn't by Nia Jax, Just say it's Becky Lynch,
Exactly. Next we have Tori Wilson, Hall of Famer. And again, this is like we said earlier, everybody, she had to get that off her bucket list, They needed a Hall of Famer or something in the match. What I hate is that when Shayna eliminates Tori Wilson, they miss. The camera misses
Bayley getting eliminated.
Misses Bianca eliminating Bayley, and I'm like, that's
more important.
That's the whole story.
Yep.
That's the whole story walking into this Rumble was that was one of 2 stories. I don't what no, why? Why?
I was not a happy camper about that at all.
Oh,
I was not a happy camper.
There's a handful of times where the camera cut thing made me so angry. There are camera too many, too much. Let go of the buttons.
Yeah.
There are times where it's just leave the dials be. Just leave them be. Next we have Lacey Evans coming out, which they kept the thing going between Lacey and Charlotte. For the most part. Whatever. I don't care. I don't want to see it in the Rumble.
Because Charlotte's just stay back and on. Somebody actually started attacking Charlotte as Lacey's coming out and all. I forget who it was attacking her, but it was just funny to see.
Next is Mickie James, which went right after Charlotte. Mickie James and Charlotte had a great little exchange, had a good moment in the ring. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross came out looking like a maniac.
Well, Mickie James, actually, let me just point out, new ring gear.
Yes, that was new ring gear. You're right.
Yeah, new ring gear altogether, because normally she comes out with, something like jeans or those bell bottoms and all. This was completely new gear for her. So I'm excited to see if she's going to stick around and, be
Well,
on the roster full time now, or?
well, I have the Wikipedia open just to get the order of everybody, and according to that, she's drafted to Raw. She's part of the Raw roster.
Nice.
So, but I mean, like, there's people that are on rosters that don't get used for God knows how long. So, okay, yeah.
Again, Titus O'Neil.
Yep. After Mickey James, you got Nikki Cross, who Mad Woman Nikki Cross. I love her.
I just wish they would do more with her. I really do.
Yeah, the Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross tag team was too long ago. We need something new with her. We need her to be doing something. Period. She's too good to not use.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget the NXT match she had with Asuka and on how, she refused to tap and she just passed out.
Yep.
That, in my opinion, is what made Nikki Cross Nikki Cross.
Yeah, that's what made her stand out as tough and as psychopath.
Yep. Because she had a smile on her face, too. It's the little things that you notice, and you're just like, all right, I can get behind her because she's different and she's badass,
So next we got Alicia Fox, who came out. And then we had R-Truth come out.
Now that was great.
Yes.
That was incredible.
This is classic Rumble shenanigans. I love it. I don't think you needed everybody chasing R-Truth, honestly. I think R-Truth coming out thinking that this was the men's Rumble would have been enough. Personally, I don't think you needed everybody chasing. But Alicia Fox winning the 24/7 championship in the middle of the women's Rumble match was genius. That's good.
Absolutely. He's like, wrong Rumble.
Yeah. And of course, like, she gets thrown out, and then R-Truth pins her and runs away with his belt again.
Yes.
Then we get Mandy Rose, which did not stand out in this Rumble whatsoever.
No.
Not for me, anyway.
No, I mean, she didn't do anything special for me either.
No, everybody was still reacting to the Alicia Fox R-Truth thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So nobody really
kind of feels
attention.
bad for her because she's in that spot, like how you supposed to follow that act. It's just like, Brett and Austin, starting to show off. Everybody else like, well, Jesus Christ, how the hell are we supposed to, follow this act?
What are we supposed to do? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Taker and Sid, they go right up to him just like, well, we ain't topping that.
Another person who came in and didn't really do much was Dakota Kai from NXT.
Unfortunately, too.
Yeah, no, I wish she would have had more time.
Same.
Carmella came out and was pretty much eliminated immediately.
Yeah.
Because, like, she gets thrown over, Virgil catches her, and then Tamina comes out for her entrance next. And Carmella jumps out of Virgil's arms to dodge the super kick, but eliminates herself by doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I didn't understand that spot because it looked like it was a miscue, honestly.
It looked a little sloppy.
Yeah, it did look like a miscue or something. And I didn't understand why she was yelling at him, honestly, when it's just a whole big cluster outside. But, you know, the good thing was it ended and they went backstage.
Exactly. Lana comes out after this, and Lana gets to eliminate Nia Jax. Which is just like, you know what? That's the closest thing Lana's ever going to get to a win against Nia Jax. Which is fine. That should be the ending. We never need to see those two, like, we never need to see Lana get murdered by Nia in the ring again. Done.
Right.
Like, I fear for Lana every time I see her step in the ring with Nia Jax. Of all the people,
I fear for anybody.
Exactly. And of all people, Lana. I'm not saying, like, she's just... It's not that she's a bad wrestler or anything like that. She's technically...
Who, Nia?
No, Lana.
Oh.
Lana's technically sound. Like, she's actually, like, a decent wrestler.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, she's one of the weaker wrestlers on WWE's women's roster. WWE has a very strong women's roster.
Mm-hmm.
After this, we got Alexa Bliss, Which,
Okay.
what did you think of the whole? I love the fact that it was like super smiley, happy Alexa Bliss that came out. And then, what do you think about the whole thing of like her getting hit, starting the transformation, and then Rhea Ripley just like, nope, we ain't doing that.
It's a good story to tell, honestly, because that can continue over, especially. And here's the reason why I came up with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair being the last two. The reason I thought they were going to be the last two is because I knew that her NXT run was done after she lost to Rodriguez. I think she lost to Rodriguez, or was it who'd she lose to? She lost to somebody. I forget if it was Martinez Rodriguez or no, it wasn't. It was the God. Anyway, she lost the match. It was the last one to stay in the match. She loses the match, and I knew that her run was up. I knew she was going to be called to the main roster. Same with Damian Priest after he got completely demolished by Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
I like to call him Killer Kross still, but I have to call him Karrion right now.
I know. After Alexa Bliss, we have Ember Moon, which other than when she came in, nothing memorable.
Right.
But apparently she didn't even last 2 minutes.
Sorry to cut you off because you would ask me a question about the transformation of Alexa Bliss.
Oh yes, right,
and we did not get into that. So the transformation being cut off tells a good story, especially because Rhea's trying to make her, impact and all. No pun intended, but she's trying to make a name for herself, and she did a hell of a job by stopping Bliss from transforming. So the nightmare against, whatever Alexa Bliss's alter ego is.
Twisted Bliss. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, we'll call it Twisted Bliss, which would be perfect, honestly, since her finishing ooze Twisted Bliss.
Exactly.
Honestly, it tells for a great story, and I hope it's her and Bliss at Mania to make it come to a head.
I cannot agree more, man. I think that would be such a good match because Alexa Bliss is a future Hall of Famer. Alexa Bliss is goddamn amazing in the ring.
Mm-hmm. She's a long way from blowing sparkles on everybody and all.
But I like how she brought it all back. Now she's using it all, and now it all like.
Yep.
That's what I love. Like that's what I love about wrestling. It's just because you did it back then and didn't work back then doesn't mean it was a bad idea. It just means it wasn't the right time or the right execution.
Well, you know what I always say about the wrestling business? It's all about timing.
Yep. There you go. So Ember Moon came in and apparently didn't even last 2 minutes, which is why I don't remember her being in it very long.
That's a shame. I actually do remember her being in it because she started off with that
really nice mask.
Flying.
She had a badass mask when she came in.
Yeah,
That's what
she did. Yeah, she had an incredible mask on. She went right in there with that flying stunner that she normally does.
Flips.
And after that, I don't remember her doing much except getting tossed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Nia Jax came in. Nia Jax dominated for a while. Got eliminated by Lana. After Nia Jax got eliminated, oh man, her and Shayna come back in, beat people up. Then they beat Natalya after Natalya comes out, and I hate that stuff, man. Like, I hate that stuff. I hate
when
people
a wrestler's eliminated and they get back in.
Yeah, and I think it's like a universal thing. Like, I don't think any fans enjoy that.
No.
In any way.
No, because once you're gone, you're gone. You got to go to the back,
Yeah, but I mean,
you had your time.
I don't even enjoy it from a heel perspective. Like, I just don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
And it's lazy.
One, there's no story to be told there.
Exactly.
There honestly is no story to be told there, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons. Actually, it's the main reason I don't like it is that there's no story to be told. It doesn't benefit the people who are doing the attacking or the people that are getting attacked. It does not benefit anybody. So
unless they're going to do Lana and Natalya to be the first title defense for the tag titles.
But again, that could have easily been avoided by having some sort of backstage confrontation
Yep.
tonight.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
know, still, again, we come right back to the thing. It does not benefit anybody from from the time you get eliminated, from the time you get back into the ring, you do your attack and all, and people are just like, okay, what just happened? Where are the referees at and all? And then
Yeah. Why aren't they
here's
doing anything?
another thing that doesn't make sense is that when somebody's eliminated and they do get back in, they're able to eliminate somebody else and that person's eliminated. So
Yeah.
like I say, it does not benefit anybody at all.
It never does. So yeah, number 30, Natalia, which
Mhm.
I'm all Team Canada, of course.
Right.
But like, man, Natalia's never gonna win a Rumble. Let's be honest. Natalia's
Actually, never say never. Because
no, you're right. You're right. It is wrestling.
In my opinion, Natty, and this is no pun intended either, she's the heart and soul of the women's division. And she's one of the reasons why there is a women's division.
No, you're right.
Natalia Neidhart. Just the name Neidhart, Hart alone,
Absolutely, you're right.
put her right there as, the mold for the women's division, especially with giving her, in NXT.
Yeah.
Would you have Charlotte Flair, the new up-and-comer, against Natalia Neidhart with Brett in her corner and Flair in his daughter's corner? Like, such an incredible story to be told. Even leading up to it, with Bret Hart saying, Flair's never been able to beat a Hart and all, like, so good lines and all, So many good lines, such a great story to be told and all. I'm just thinking they're holding her back just a little bit longer, and then they're gonna, when the time's right, they're just gonna be like, listen, thank you for everything you've done, and give her moment closer to when she's ready to hang it up.
I think she's just gonna. I don't think I think she's gonna go to a backstage role. She's just gonna stay in the company and do something else.
Okay.
I honestly believe Natalia would just stay in the company and do something else. She'd probably just transfer over to NXT and start training there. Know what I mean? Like, she might become the new Sarah Stock, for example, since they got rid of one of their best coaches for women. So they got rid of one of their best female coaches when COVID hit. So
right,
Natalia would be a good replacement. Is all I'm saying. So yeah, the last three were Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. Yeah. Charlotte, they eliminate Charlotte together. And I love it because it's just like, screw this. We're the future. She's the past. Screw her. So they throw her out. They're about to start fighting when they're on the ring, when they're on the ropes dangling. And then Rhea Ripley, this is the moment where I was just like, either one of these two could win and I am happy. I wanted Bianca to win.
Right.
Either one of these two could win and I would be happy. It's when Rhea Ripley looked at Bianca and said, let's get back in the ring and do this the right way. And then they both did.
Yeah.
No bullshit. No heel shenanigans.
Yeah.
They both baby-faced it the whole way. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, WWE.
And that's never been done before in any Rumble. Not a man's Rumble, not a women's Rumble. It's never been done. So for that to happen, like, that's awesome. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did, and I don't care what anybody says. My wife is a ref. My wife is a ref. What the ref says, the ref's call is final. Okay? You want to make Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair have a match one-on-one to determine, and then have Bianca Belair win? Sure. I'll watch the match.
Yeah, I'll
gladly watch Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair.
In my opinion, it's an incredible story to be told still. Everything always comes back to a story. Yeah, okay, you have a picture. Okay, bring it to the front office. Yep. Okay, you bring it to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce says this. Okay, at the next pay-per-view, we will have Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, winner take all. I'm fine with that.
The Eddie Kingston spot in AEW earlier this year. That wasn't planned.
Right.
Eddie Kingston didn't go over the top rope and then got kicked off and got eliminated officially by a ref. But I don't think that was like an actual planned storyline going forward, but they turned it into one instantly. Because why wouldn't you?
Right.
So Women's Rumble, like we said, classic. It's gonna go down in history.
Definitely my favorite match of the night, I think.
Oh yeah.
I definitely put it up there as my favorite match of the night. Over the next match, what we'll be getting into.
I really liked the next match. I liked Roman versus Owens.
I did
really
too,
enjoyed
but
it.
was it better than the Women's Rumble with the story the women
No,
told
no.
without? Exactly. Because
No.
the thing about it is, we've seen Owens and Reigns for a while now.
Yeah.
We've seen it for a while, and they tell a story, and it's pretty much the same story, different outcomes though, different finishes. But they always tell the same story. Nothing wrong with that because they keep it fresh and all.
Yes. I'm enjoying
but the
it.
Women's Rumble was completely fresh, new, and just downright incredible in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no. You can't compare a singles match to the Rumble. It's like no. Rumble will always win. But yeah, no, the last man standing match. To me, I really like Owens and Reigns, and like I enjoyed the Owens and Reigns rivalry when Reigns was a face and Owens was a heel years ago.
Yeah.
Probably because Jericho was involved, let's face it. But I really enjoyed it for the most part anyway. And now look, Roman is easily the best thing in WWE right now. Easily.
Besides Orton.
Your opinion. I really love
the
Samoan Chief, man. I love the character. I love the mentality behind it. I love there's so much thought and passion, and there's so many little details about this. Like the more you know about Samoan culture, the more this just makes sense, and the better it is. And I don't know, it's so cool.
Let's do a little history lesson here again.
Yeah.
It is very, very smart that they put Heyman with Reigns. And I'm going to explain why. And believe it or not, it has nothing to do with Lesnar. It has to do with the simple fact, and you heard it before because Heyman even spoke about it in an interview to Reigns, that he was there with his father and his uncle and all when they were wrestling and when they were wrestlers, and spoke in his language and all. So it was only fitting for them to put Heyman with Reigns because of the history Reigns has with the Samoan family.
Yes. Now, speaking of history and Samoan family, what do you think of the history of Samoans running people over who do stunners?
Which is true. It is very true. And just ask for Rikishi.
Yep. It's kind of a funny legacy, but Roman upholding the legacy.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. I love stupid details like that. I don't know if that was done on purpose, to really shout out that moment, but who cares?
Right, but here's what else though. Check this out now. Okay, let's say down the line we had Austin. You get mowed down by Rikishi. Okay, you had Roman Reigns getting run down by run down KO.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here's a story you can tell. Lance, the younger cousin, who's been in, he's been in the performance center for a while now. I actually had the honor and privilege of reffing for him and Rikishi my first night of reffing. So that's why I know about Lance.
Okay.
I see him getting called up very soon. He was on Raw many times already. He played the security guard with Brock and Lesnar one year, and he also had a dark match and all, and a tag match on Raw. But let's say he comes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say it's him against somebody brand new that's not like an Austin character, but they're using the stunner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have a chance of telling a story and flipping it and having a Samoan getting run down and to keep the story fresh and going years down the line.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Sorry for taking up time on that, but there's always,
that's cool though. That's cool. I like that. So yeah, like I was saying, overall though the match is good. I like I like last man standing matches
Mm,
personally. I think they're very good when they're good, they're good.
right.
And when they're bad, they're still pretty good. That's how I
Yeah.
see it. But
I mean,
they
I
botched the
didn't have
ending.
high hopes. Speaking of last man standing matches, let's talk about one recently, and keeping it, with the Samoan, the whole legacy and all. God rest his soul, Umaga and John Cena. I didn't have high
Oh my
hopes for
god,
it,
yeah.
but you know what? They made it work. Like, whoever thought that Cena would use a top rope to choke him out for a 10 count? I definitely didn't
Yeah.
see that ending coming.
Same. Man. I like what they tried to do with the ending of this match. I really like what they tried to do. Like,
Mm.
I was sitting there and I was like, oh my god. Like, KO did it. KO did it.
Mm.
Like, holy crap. Like, I don't think it was
Mhm.
the right call, but I'll take it. Is the way I
Right.
felt about that. And
He
then
grabbed
Roman
the referee. Like,
grabs
that
the
was
ref, and I'm like,
genius.
I'm sitting there completely shocked. I'm like, oh my god, that was amazing. And then
Yeah,
you have
that's
Heyman run out,
genius.
and the second ref has to stop counting at 5 because Heyman can't get the handcuffs undone.
And honestly, you know what I would have done if I was reffing?
Ugh.
You
What?
know what I would have done? I would have taken the heat and called and did the 10 count.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
would have.
Owens was still on the ground,
Because
and
not
champion
only would I have
retains.
done that, right, exactly. But here's what I would do. I would have had the 10 count. Owens would be champion because now
Huh,
you have a story to tell. And now he has somebody to blame, which was Heyman. He couldn't do his job.
that's true. But
Okay.
even
So you
then,
see, there's always a way to keep the story
there's a way to
going,
spin it.
with that. Yeah.
But like, no, if the ref would have finished counting to the 10
Hmm.
and they both would have been out,
Hmm.
then great.
Yeah.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't, and it's just like when Owens got up is what
Hmm.
happened, and that's when the ref realizes that Heyman's not going to be able to untie it in time, like undo it in time,
Right.
and Owens should have taken like 1 or 2 steps forward and then just collapsed and restarted the
Hmm.
count right then and there. You know what I mean? Like that would have restarted it, so that would have been perfect.
Hmm.
But no, it felt like 5 minutes.
One
Fiddling
more
with
so.
that
It's only
thing,
like
man.
now a minute and 30 maybe tops.
Yeah, but in moments like
Yeah.
that, it feels like
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it was like honestly, just like wow, because they kept turning the camera away too. It was like five,
Yeah.
10 minutes of my what I thought, but
No, yeah. When you watch back, you're like, oh, that was only a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but it feels like
yeah.
an eternity.
When I was watching it live, I'm just like, what the hell? Like we're coming up to like 5, 10 minutes right now. Like why?
Yeah.
At that point, just freaking cut them off.
It would have been an easy fix. Here's the worst part. Super easy fix. You
Yep.
send out Heyman, right?
Yep.
You don't have Heyman on camera the entire time, and you just have Heyman do a signal. Like, okay, I got it. Send in the ref. That's all you gotta do. Hand signal. Done. Just tell
Yeah.
your cameraman to be smart enough to lift his camera high enough to not see his hands.
Right.
Don't do like they did between Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle, where you can obviously see that Bobby Lashley did not stomp Riddle's foot.
Right.
That was bad.
Hmm.
That was bad. But like it's WWE and camera work.
Yeah. That the ending to that match again. I called the ending. I had told people he's probably gonna win low blow guillotine. I knew he was gonna win with the guillotine.
I don't really care for the guillotine choke for him personally.
Near do I, honestly. It doesn't really fit him, and I understand why they're giving it to him, just because they want him to,
Well, yeah, sure.
be like, oh, he's been training with Lesnar, and that's why he knows how to use it and all. Like, let him be his own person, which would have been
Yeah.
cooler. Superman punch, get on top of him, right? And then just do ground and pound until your fists are completely bleeding and you're completely exhausted. You have nothing left, and then do the 10 count there. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that because it's original and it's still keeping him as a Samoan badass, which they want him to do.
Yeah. No, I agree. But no, they got to do like like everybody. And when you get big enough, you have a strike finisher, a submission finisher, and a grapple finisher. This is how it works when you're a big enough name, right?
Yeah, I mean, look
Unless
at
you're
Cena,
Randy
you
Orton.
know.
Unless
Orton?
you're Orton. If you're Randy Orton, then you don't have that. You just got the RKO.
Yep, that's all you need.
That's all
That
you
is
need.
all you need. But what
so
was after the
speaking
KO
of-
match? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the men's rumble after the KO match? Or
Yep,
yeah,
that was it. Men's Rumble after that. It was a really man. There was not a lot of matches on this
so
card.
let's go back and recap real quick. We had the world title match, which started off. Then we had what was it after that?
SmackDown. SmackDown Women's
The
title
SmackDown
match.
Women's title. So that's 2. Then the Women's title.
Women's
and then
Rumble.
we had the Women's Rumble, which was 4. Was it 3 or 4?
That's the third match.
The 3 is
the third match.
Wow.
If you don't count the pre-show.
No, because the pre-show's
It's not the main card, it's the pre-show.
Yeah, exactly. So 3. So then you go into the KO match, and then the men's Rumble 5 matches.
Yep.
Wow.
But it worked.
Yeah.
The pacing of this pay-per-view overall was good. So men's Rumble, we have Edge and Orton that started. And then we have
I don't understand that.
Here's the way I see it. If Orton wins, he's a 3-time winner, right?
Right.
If Edge wins, he's a 3-time winner, isn't he?
Right. No,
he's a 2-time. You're right. Shit.
No, but he would be the third person ever to start from number 1, because it was Michaels, Benoit, and Edge.
Yeah.
Who were at number 1.
Yeah. So they had to give it to another Canadian.
Yeah.
Because if you look at WWE, it's going to say HBK redacted Edge.
Right.
Assholes. But no, man, Chris Benoit, like, come on. The 04 Rumble is one of the best Rumbles of all time.
I know.
So yeah, here's the thing. When they did the whole injury spot with Orton on the getting taken out, I was like, damn it, Orton's gonna win. Orton's winning the Rumble. And I was so pissed. Literally, I was so pissed. And I'm like, I'm watching this Rumble, and I think, like, man, Carlito didn't make me pop.
Honestly, Carlito made me, like, he didn't make me pop. When I saw him, I'm like, damn, he's fucking jacked now.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry for language. But, you know, like, he is jacked.
He is. He looks good right now. But, like, like, all these people are coming out. All this stuff is happening. You got Woods and Big E. Cool stuff happening. I'm just sitting here sour because I think Randy Orton's going to win.
I think everybody did the second they saw him, like, in the trainer's room and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody did. But, yeah, 1 and 2. Who was third? Was Mustafa Ali. Well, no, third was Sami Callihan.
Sami Zayn.
Sorry, Sami Zayn, not Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
Wrong promotion.
That
Sami
was the
Zayn.
Headlines. That was the headline.
Yes, but Sami Zayn came out, and then they started teaming up on Edge, and then Mustafa Ali came out. I liked Mustafa Ali because he gunned for Edge, which I thought I liked a lot, and it made sense to keep up with his gimmick, you know?
Yeah. Hardy comes out. Edge finally has a bit of help.
Yeah.
And I think it's when Ziggler comes out that they go outside and they do the spot, and that's when Orton starts getting escorted to the back.
No, because what happened was
that when Ziggler came out?
They were still beating the hell out of one another in the ring and all, and then Orton turns on everybody and RKO's everybody, and then Edge takes everybody out or takes Orton out, and they start beating the hell out of each other on the outside. But yeah, Ziggler did come out after the RKO's.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's right. Shinsuke comes out, and then as they're bringing Orton up the ramp, Carlito comes out. That's what it was. Yeah. Carlito's in Orton's face as Orton's being walked out.
I remember Orton
he was in somebody's
being escorted out by the side.
Was it by the side? It was around the same time someone was coming out because they kept cutting back to Orton, as this person was making their entrance, and that's probably why I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But yeah, Carlito was great. I hope that he does what MVP did last year, turn this into something.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It was great to see Woods and Big E again together. Because, like, New Day. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was cool to see all three of them, honestly, even though Kofi's out and all. First Rumble he missed, so you couldn't see any extravagant thing like him jumping from like one of the screens to the barricade to to the ring.
He's got a break for this year, so he's got another year to think about what to do next year. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
be extra good.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be a pancake save or anything like that, hopefully.
Hopefully. Then it's John Morrison.
Now, Morrison's another one who does the stuff. He's the first one I ever saw, honestly.
Yes, he started
knocked off the apron, and he landed on that barricade, and people were just like, oh, they popped instantly.
Yeah.
And then he gets up, tightrope walks and all, then jumps from the barricade to the steps, and then hops over the top rope back into the ring. And I think that's what started for, the endings and all. Like, well, not the endings, but the ridiculous getting him back in the ring and whatnot.
Yeah. Then I'm trying to fly through it because we have a lot to cover on this show. Sorry. Ricochet comes out. Like, I find a lot of the stuff in the men's rumble wasn't that memorable for the most part. It had some good spots, but Ricochet comes out, had his nice little, like, everybody had a moment when they came out where they got to kick ass. But for most of them, that's all it was.
Ricochet didn't really do much, honestly, in the Rumble. He did not, unfortunately. And again, it's got to be because of the fact he's not re-signing because he doesn't like the way his character's going. And I honestly don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him at all.
I just heard today that Cesaro's contract is coming to an end shortly, and he didn't re-sign either. And I don't blame him.
That excites me. Elias came out after this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hated Elias back on NXT. Loved Elias the moment he made his main roster debut. Just made sense. Fits there better. And Elias is consistent and steady. I like him. Damian Priest comes in. And Damian Priest does the finisher, his finisher, Crossroads, essentially. The moment he gets in.
Yeah.
And
he had two big eliminations.
He had he had some good eliminations this year. He had 4 eliminations total this year.
Yeah, he first eliminated somebody that I was like, oh, damn, who did he eliminate?
He got Miz and Morrison at the same time.
Yeah,
he got
Kane.
Huge. Kane.
Yeah,
that was the big name. He ended up eliminating Kane this year. Like, Kane passing the torch, hopefully, right?
Absolutely.
Miz comes out, destroys Bad Bunny's turntables, which we didn't talk about that.
Right.
But I will say, having Booker T just standing on the entrance ramp the entire time with his arms crossed, not moving, not doing a single thing while this guy's hopping around him singing in Spanish was freaking hilarious. I'm like, does Booker, like, my wife looks at me and she's like, does Booker T even know what he's saying? Like, I have no idea. He probably does speak Spanish, but.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Miz trashes those. Bad Bunny gets angry. Damian Priest eliminates Miz and Morrison, and then Bunny does a dive from the top rope to the outside. It was decent.
It impressed me, honestly. Plus, he held the ribs, too, afterwards, so he sold it.
Yeah.
So I was happy with it.
He's obviously a fan. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good enough fan that he studied what he was supposed to do in that moment.
As much as I don't want to say it, I mean, it was unfortunately better than Snoop Dogg's splash a few weeks ago.
Totally was. Matt Riddle comes out after Miz. And Matt Riddle, Daniel Bryan comes out. So I'm just going to talk about
that. Let's talk about that. Oh my God. I think that's the first time I've ever seen anybody chain wrestle in the middle of a Rumble match.
Agreed. I've never seen that. Never seen that. But what I love is I expected this from Nakamura, right?
Mm.
When Nakamura and Matt Riddle start going at it, you see a moment between the two of them where they acknowledge what's about to happen.
Yeah.
They start hitting each other for real.
Mm-hmm.
Not like all out, but those are some snug, stiff strikes from both Nakamura and Riddle.
Because that's the style that they're used to. That's the style that
Exactly.
they trained with.
And then,
I mean, Riddle with the MMA background, Nakamura with the partial MMA background as well.
exactly. Apparently, Canadians are known for that too, for being really snug in our. Apparently, we tend to be a little stiff in our strikes as workers.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
I've
that
heard
is
it,
a
but
true
I like.
statement. If you watch the Bret Hart documentary, the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, or I think it's that one, and Jake talks about a story where Dynamite got stiff by Bret, so he goes up to Jake and says, "Jake, left eye or right eye?" He's like, "Don't say that to me." He's just like, "All right, I'll do them both then."
Oh my
So
god.
he's just like, "No, okay, right eye, all right, fist, elbow, or knee." He's like, "Really?" He's like, "All right, I'll do all three then." He's like, "All right, elbow."
Oh.
He's like, "All right, well, make sure you're standing at the curtain, because if you're not there, then I have to do it again." He's like, "Okay." So he stands there, right? He looks over. He sees Jake's like this. He's just like, "Hi, I'm here." Boom! Busts Bret's eye wide open. So yeah, Canadians are known for being a little stiff. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, honestly, you've seen it with Benoit, the stiffness with his kicks and punches. Bret with his, punches and
Jericho.
kicks
Even
and
Jericho.
Edge. A lot of the Canadians have the hard hitting background, and I mean, look why most of them were trained by Stu.
Yeah.
The newer ones
Michael
are trained
Elgin,
by Lance.
Michael Elgin had a story about when he was in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Saying he was talking with Tiger Hattori, legendary referee Tiger Hattori, and Tiger Hattori was telling him like, "God, no, you Canadian boys do good here. You guys hit hard.
Yeah,
like you guys hit hard. Yep. You guys do good here."
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. So that's cool to know. This is a little thing about my home style of wrestling, I guess. But yeah,
up in Canada, you guys do hit hard, and not too many people know this either. But Bret even says, I say all the time that I'm the best there is, best there will be. Well, I got to tip my hat off to the Japanese because I was trained by 2 Japanese trainers.
Yeah.
So, that's why I consider Bret and Dynamite all-time best athletes that have ever stepped foot in the ring, easily. Bar none. Like, this is no disrespect to Ric Flair. No disrespect to Ric Flair.
Oh, of course not.
Honestly, probably, I would say the best wrestler ever to come out of America, in my opinion. Like, he did some stuff over in Japan, but he went to Japan and America, not too much Canada stuff. At least to my knowledge, he's always, Ric Flair in America, always down south in Atlanta, the Carolinas, all that. So, no disrespect to Ric Flair, still by all means one of the greatest wrestlers ever to come out of America. But pound for pound, best athletes overall in the wrestling business, Dynamite Kid and Bret Hart, and that's just my opinion.
I agree with you on Bret Hart 100%. I'm gonna say that right away. But what I was saying about Riddle and Nakamura.
Dynamite Kid stuff before or no?
Sorry?
Have you seen Dynamite Kid stuff before or no?
Not enough.
I will say this, all right? If you can get your hands on it, okay? It's earlier, okay?
Yeah.
It's Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, and you're definitely going to want to watch that match.
Yeah, that sounds like I love Tiger Mask.
That's where I first learned about Dynamite, was watching the Tiger Mask matches, and I was in love with both athletes.
Awesome.
So
when I was talking about Riddle and Nakamura, though, also, as soon as they're done doing that strong style stuff, Daniel Bryan gives the exact same look to Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle's like, "Fucking A." Like, again, excuse the language, but you see it on his face. He's like, "All right, people want to do this."
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, there's one other person that did this that as well. Hit Riddle hard and took a hard hit from Riddle. And that was Seth Rollins. And I did not expect that from Rollins.
Well, they hate each other.
Yeah, I don't know if they were just selling it, but I think in that moment after Rollins saw Nakamura do it and Daniel Bryan do it, Rollins was like, you know what? This would sell the hatred between our characters enough, so you just do it, man. Hit me. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't even think it's a hatred between characters because Seth Rollins went public and said he could care less if he ever works with Riddle or not. He has no love for Riddle whatsoever.
He really doesn't like Riddle. You're right.
But maybe something changed with him. Huh?
The fact that he got the curb stomp and eliminating Riddle. Ooh, that's gotta rub Riddle the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to,
that's a good
tell the story too. That's another history lesson, okay? Real quick. You have Terry Funk and Ric Flair one-on-one, right? Not too many people know this, but going into this match, they absolutely hated each other and put on one of the absolute greatest matches.
Oh, I believe that. There's two guys here that can... I'm pretty sure they still can't stand each other whatsoever. But they put their differences aside to have a match. And, man, it was not a work. They did shoot interviews about... they did shoot interviews about this stuff. These two had bad blood. These two local guys had a lot of bad blood against each other. And they did the match. And it was really, really, really good. And they played the build-up to the match perfectly. So, I mean, they don't like each other, but they respect each other, obviously, or else that match wouldn't have gone as well as it did. As it did. They have some level.
And you know what helped with that? Because it's the wrestling business, hatred sells.
Hatred sells.
And you always want to see, all right, if this guy's going to talk about this guy and this guy's going to, defend himself against this guy, what's the outcome going to be? So you're going to want to buy, especially for an indie scene, and you have access to an indie scene and all, automatically, I have to be there. I don't care how much the ticket is. If it's front row seats that are just left, I have to make it.
There you go.
I need to see the, I need to say it.
So, number 18 is Kane making his, number 18 Kane making his 18th Royal Rumble appearance. That's pretty funny.
The most
I didn't realize that.
The most out of everybody in the company, of all time, which is a huge.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone for him.
It's his domain.
Yeah. I think he'll always come back and do the Rumble. Always until the doctors are just like, listen, we can't clear you anymore. You're just too beaten down.
Exactly. Then we get King Corbin, which whatever. Then we get no, you know what, man? Corbin is one of those. Corbin is good at what he does. He's good at what he does. I'll give him that. Whatever.
My opinion, he was a top heel. I mean, he is a top heel.
He is a top heel. I will agree. He has go away heat when it comes to me. That's all.
Right.
After after him we get Otis, then we get Dominic. Which Dominic had a good little moment there. Then before Lashley threw him into next year. Oh man. Lashley comes out next after
Lashley absolutely dominated Dominic in that match. My God. I mean, I thought only his dad was able to fly like that. Boy, was I wrong.
I haven't seen Dominic in a little while because, I don't watch WWE regularly. So, the transition from last year's Mania to now in Dominic, wow. Yeah. Wow. He looks great. Just saying. We get Hurricane comes out next.
Great story about Hurricane. When he came out, I'm just like, wow, that's awesome. Because I'm just like, I was on the show with him twice. And I got to put the belt around him twice backstage because he comes out with his own belt now on the indie scenes.
Yeah, it's true.
I got to put a belt on him twice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then they were just like, "What do you know about Hurricane?" I was like, "Well, he used to be in this game I used to play called IWA. We were talking about that backstage." And he was just like, "Oh, okay." Like
Random
people were
shit.
just like, "Wow, how do you like, how do you know half of the stuff that you know?" I'm just like, I'm just yeah, I honestly, respect everybody
Yes.
in the business except for one person, which I addressed earlier in the show, and that's never going to change. But
Yeah,
other than that,
yes. So after Hurricane tries to choke slam Biggie and Bobby Lashley at the same time, obviously
yeah,
doesn't work for him. He landed hard on that
yeah,
ankle.
yeah.
And
I'm
I hope he's
hoping he's
okay.
okay. Honestly, when I heard the thud and all, I'm just like, oh, he hit hard,
I
and
was
he's not
watching
as young as he used to be either.
yeah,
So
I was watching Fightful, and Sean Ross Sapp straight up said it because he knows a lot of these guys personally, and Shane Helms used to work for Fightful as a writer at
right,
some point, right? So Sean Ross Sapp texted him, and and he said it. He's like, he is like, he's not, yeah, he's hurt, but he's okay.
right. Like he probably
So
felt that he's got a bit of a stinger and all, but it's nothing that'll take time off. He just
he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
yeah.
Next we get, this is what took me out of my funk, man. After seeing the Hurricane moment, I was like, that was really cool. Then you see Bobby Lashley and Big E just like collide,
Yeah.
and neither of them have any give when they collide into each other. I love that.
Yep.
Um, but this is the moment from the Rumble that pulled me out of my Randy Orton funk. Christian came in. Oh
Yes.
my god, dude!
I
Like
wasn't
I
expecting
was
the look
losing it.
because Edge is on the ground pretty much, out of it. Sees Christian coming down with a smile on his
Oh.
face. I'm just like, that's $1,000,000 right there.
And like Edge is looking at him like, "What are you doing, you idiot? Why are
Yeah.
you here? Like, what are you doing down here?" I loved it, man. Like I felt like even Edge. It felt like Edge literally didn't know. You know, he knew that Christian was going to be in
Right.
the Rumble, but they sold it so well. All of the emotion, man. Like them hugging.
And you
Like
know what
that's the
that's called?
thumbnail for this video. I'm telling you
You
that,
know
man.
what that's
Them
called,
hugging
right?
is the thumbnail. Yeah.
Yes. But you know what that's called, right?
Yeah.
That's called psychology at its finest.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Because that was just beautiful.
Yep.
And like in my opinion, Christian is one of the all-time greatest underrated. Like people are in the last 3-4 years, people have started to realize how good Christian was.
In
But
my opinion,
so underrated when he was in action.
he's one of the greatest mid card wrestlers I've ever seen. And I
Have you
say mid
ever
card because
yeah,
he got noticed when he became Intercontinental Champion.
he did. But have you seen any of his TNA run?
I seen a little bit of it. I seen a little bit of early the years and all. I know
Okay.
he did some stuff with Angle. I know he did some stuff with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
even Bobby Lashley. The list goes on and on.
To
Um,
me, in Impact or in
mhm,
TNA, he proved that he could be a main eventer. He could prove that he could be a world champion if you gave him the opportunity.
right.
Um, personally, anyway, but I'm a giant Christian mark, so as much as my wife freaks out for Edge, I freak out for Christian. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's always been my
Even
favorite of the
himself
two.
out. Right.
He's my favorite of the two. And like when I started watching wrestling really intensely was
Mhm.
when he and Jericho were tag team champions and Jericho was intercont at the same time.
Mhm.
Like I distinctly remember that run very well. Them doing the loony bet, the Canadian dollar bet to get Christian Lita. Oh, that was good.
Yeah. So
But
after Christian, we have who was
uh
it?
AJ Styles.
Yes. Yes. So I was happy to see AJ come out at the lower numbers, honestly, because
Yeah.
I was hoping. I'm just like, damn. I'm hoping he wins because he is red hot right now.
I mean,
So
AJ's always red hot, and he needs to get a Rumble win before he retires. Guaranteed.
right. So here's a little bit of a spoiler for those of you who did not see the Rumble. I was expecting Keith Lee to win the Rumble. I was
Yeah.
really expecting him to win. Um,
Well, we got
rumors were that
Ricochet
he was
in the
going to
Rumble
win.
instead.
Rumors were he was going to win the Rumble too. It was going to be like Lesnar, Keith Lee, and Drew at WrestleMania. They were the
Yes, a
rumors
lot
that
of
I've
people
been
were saying.
hearing and all. However, with him having the virus and all,
Well, we don't know if he has it, but Mia Yim
no, it's
has
been
it. Oh,
confirmed that
has it been
he.
confirmed that he
Yeah,
does?
it's been
Okay.
confirmed that he does have it. At least that's what my buddy said.
Okay.
I haven't seen it that he has it and all, but I guess they're just taking precautions since
Oh, of course. Yeah.
since they're together and all. Like
Yeah.
me and Keith Lee are a couple and all. I guess they took precautions just to,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and I don't blame them at all.
It's like we said on last week's show when we talked about Nyla Rose, how she was supposed to face Layla Hirsch, and
Right.
she came into her roommate came down positive with it, or came into contact with somebody who did. And look, precautions are more important. People's lives are more important. So yeah, they made the right call.
Yeah, because there's always going to be opportunities for somebody
Exactly.
like Keith Lee who's red hot out of
Oh my
NXT.
God.
Opportunities are going to be there at all times. Sometimes
So
safety and health comes before all else.
AJ has almost with him,
Yes.
and again, this is the random guy. Like, he shouldn't even have been allowed to stay around at ringside. It doesn't make sense. The ref should have been like, get out of here, because he just yanks Big E out of the ring and yanks Rey Mysterio out of the ring, basically.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious because he didn't even have to tippy toe or anything. He just reaches up and
like
grabs.
the visual was insane. I will give them that, but like, man, you don't mess with the Rumble like that. I don't like that shit. Like, we talked about it earlier when people are eliminated, or like when random people just run in and beat people up. Like, to me, that was because what's stopping Omos from doing that to everyone?
Right.
Like, you can't do something like that without being consistent about him doing it, or else he looks like an idiot.
Correct. Now,
Personally,
I think they dropped the ball on that, honestly, and I'm going to explain why. I think they were too focused because he's a big guy and all. It'll be like, you know what? We're going to put our own twist on the Giant Gonzalez here. You're going to go out with AJ and start eliminating people on AJ's behalf.
Yeah.
You remember
but
Gonzalez?
He only got 2.
I know.
If he would have gotten more, then like, it's one of those things where it's either you go all out or you don't.
Right. Honestly, I was expecting him and Strowman, since Strowman came back and all, I was expecting him and Strowman to square off in the ring, even though he wasn't, scheduled to be in the Rumble match.
They teased it.
I think they're teasing it for Mania, and I don't agree with that. I mean, they're both big guys, yes and all. Unfortunately, though, big guys like that, it doesn't work match for match, honestly.
So, our final 5, I'm just gonna name the final 5 in a row, and then we'll talk about the ending, like the final 4 standing in the ring.
Okay.
Because a lot of the 3 of these guys didn't do much. So Rey Mysterio, who got eliminated by Omos.
Yes.
Sheamus, who got eliminated by Strowman. Cesaro, who also got eliminated by Strowman. Sheamus and Cesaro did have a nice little moment where they're like, the bar, yeah, and then Cesaro screwed Sheamus. He goes, no, man, every man for himself. It's the Rumble. Cool. Right. Okay. But after those 2, we got Seth Rollins coming out at number 29, and then we got Braun Strowman at number 30.
Right.
And our final 4...
Edge, Christian, Strowman, and Rollins.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wasn't a big fan of, Seth Rollins going to Strowman to, be like, look, it's these two. These guys have had it already. It's our time now. I mean,
Actually, you know what?
that would make sense if, Mustafa Ali was in there,
Yes. It makes sense for Rollins doing that because Rollins, he's Triple H. He truly believes what he said.
Right.
But it makes some sense as well because like Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley did it earlier in the night and it worked for them. So he's gonna try it because he's a weasel. But commentary actually put over the fact that they used to be tag team champions together. Like, are you comparing Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman as a tag team to Christian and Edge as a tag team? Are you
There's no
serious?
comparison, honestly. There's no comparison. First off,
Ridiculous.
Rollins and Strowman, I don't even think held anything as a tag team, or maybe they were tag team champions.
Yeah, they were Raw tag team champions apparently.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Were anyway.
That's right. I forgot about that. I can't remember everything, I could not remember everything.
So Christian and Edge eliminate Strowman. We get Rollins eliminates Christian and Edge eliminates Rollins. Then we get the obvious of Randy Orton coming out of nowhere.
Hitting an RKO.
Hitting an RKO.
I saw coming a mile away.
Yep, everybody did.
Everybody did. I was just like, yeah, everybody knew it. Everybody knew. I mean, Orton wins. Orton absolutely wins, especially with the RKO.
I hate the commentary in this case. WWE's commentary sucks because they're just like, oh, right. Oh my goodness, Randy Orton is still in the Royal Rumble. And yes, we know he's still in the Royal Rumble, you idiots. You should have remembered this too. You're dumber than we are.
I mean, honestly, I've been watching most of the events on mute and doing my own commentating.
WWE is terrible commentary. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, the days of Gorilla and Heenan and J.R. King and Vince and Jesse, they're all gone. Yeah, it's all gone.
There's some great commentary in other companies, but not in WWE.
Right. I mean,
lost
their best commentator. They lost two of their best commentators, one being Morrow and the other one being Joey Styles. Yes, I mean, honestly, you could just have for NXT, you could have just had Joey Styles doing NXT by himself, and he would have called every single match, and it would have been incredible.
Yeah, he probably could have made it work. So yeah, Randy Orton gets eliminated, and Edge wins, which freaking A. Rated R superstar.
I'm not expecting him to eliminate Orton after being RKO'd, honestly.
Nobody did. I'm pretty sure everybody thought Orton was winning this. WWE successfully swerved. They got us.
For once.
Anybody who tells you that in that moment they thought Edge was still going to win it, they're lying to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the second that RKO hits and he scoops up scoops up Edge and he gets ready to toss him, and Edge just with that little turnaround with the toss, nobody saw that coming. Not a single person. Unless you were the writers and Vince himself, and Edge and Orton. Those are the only ones that knew what was going on. Not a single fan can say, "Oh yeah, I knew Edge was going to win."
Exactly. So with Christian back though. Like, Edge is going to go on to WrestleMania, and whatever Edge does at Mania, Edge does at Mania. Whether it's McIntyre or whether it's Reigns, it's going to be good. I want it to be Reigns more, personally. I think that's what most people kind of want it to be. But I feel like Reigns probably has a bunch of good options already for opponents at Mania, while McIntyre doesn't have as many. And McIntyre's been the guy putting all the older guys down to rest. So you have a story either way.
Right.
Either way, you have a story, and it could work really well. But what I really want to see, I want to see Edge and Christian start teaming again. And I want to see WWE actually rebuild their tag team division, because you have these two who are serious about it. I hope they take a backstage role pushing tag team wrestling in WWE.
Me too. And the reason being I mean, here's where Vince dropped the ball. They had the Good Brothers there, straight out of Japan.
Yep.
And they had the Revival there, hottest tag team.
And
they dropped the ball by letting them two go. Edge and Christian are back. Easily could have worked with either team. Easily could have put their stock from here to here in the company.
Yep.
It's depressing, honestly, that Vince just doesn't care about tag team division, it's, it sucks, It sucks a lot because I've been a huge fan of tag team wrestling. The days of the Hart Foundation, Nasty Boys, LOD, Natural Disasters, Rockers, Hart Foundation. The list can go on and on. Brainbusters versus anybody. I mean, like I said, I can go on and on. Even tag teams that were awesome, but you didn't know where they were going to go, like Power and Glory. There's a name for the past for you.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma. So tag team wrestling was tag team wrestling back in the 90s, and you just don't see that anymore,
I agree.
You really don't. And like I said before with tag team wrestling, with tag team wrestling, what I said before, I don't like the commentating for tag team wrestling either. How when you're a heel, it's just like, there they are cutting off the ring again. Great tag team work it's frustrating.